I love when I've been talking and I wasn't recording. So much fun. So today I wanted to talk about parasocial relationships because someone mentioned this as a topic like early on when I first started this channel and asked me to talk about it. And it's very interesting because I obviously have experience with it on both sides. So if you don't know, parasocial relationships are a psychological attachment in which the media persona offers a continuing relationship with the media user. They grow to depend on them, plan to interact with them, count on them much like a close friend. They acquire a history with them and believe they know the persona better than others. So the they that they're referring to is the media user, obviously. That's the Wikipedia definition. Wikipedia. Another definition is relationships that are one-sided relationships where a person extends emotional energy, interest, and time to the other party, the persona, who is completely aware of the other's existence. Parasocial relationships are common with celebrities, organizations such as sports teams, or television stars. Can we add influencers to that list? So a common question, or one of the most popular questions is, are parasocial relationships healthy? Which is really interesting. And it says, while parasocial relationships are not abnormal or unhealthy, there are some downsides to them. Even though a parasocial relationship is a one-sided relationship, it is still a form of social interaction. So parasocial relationships can be used as a way to help with psychological survival, which is also very interesting, considering the state of the world right now. Yeah, so I obviously have experience on both sides of this because, for those of you who don't know, if you just happened across this channel and you don't know about my makeup or my beauty channel, I started as just a makeup fan. I was into it. I became interested in the art of makeup. I went to school for painting, so I had never looked at makeup that way. Anyway, I started following people obviously on social media, on Pinterest, on Instagram. I was pretty late to the YouTube game in terms of makeup tutorials and stuff, but I started my makeup journey watching people like Nicole Guerrero and Desi Perkins and Katie and Samantha Rovendal and Made You Look, that chick who does the bomb ass, what is it all? I just lost the word for it. Special effects stuff. And it's an interesting phenomenon because it is true that you tune in every week or or twice a week or however often this person uploads, and they're talking to you about their experiences. Some of them are like Desi Perkins is all in, here's my whole fucking life, Others are just kind of teaching you techniques, but you get to know their personality, and you kind of end up relying on that form of interaction, which is either sort of an entertainment. Well, I think it's all entertainment, but it all sort of falls under entertainment. Some of it's educational, some of it is reality TV-esque, I guess. Finding similarities in that person and relating it to your own life, which I think is something that gravitates a lot of people towards someone like Desi Perkins. And now I'm on the other side of it, where now I am that, I guess, to other people. So it's interesting to see it to have seen it from both sides, I guess. Because I think a big thing that I have recognized is, for instance, the idea of walking in someone else's shoes, putting yourself in someone else's position. You don't always see that until you are actually in it. So I definitely, as someone who had watched, I guess I'm relating this more to social media influencers or people on social media, not so much to celebrities and, those kinds of media personalities, which obviously it's a similar thing, but I feel like it's really been heightened with influencers because so much of it is, here's my life. I'm showing you my life. It's sort of like reality television, but real. So I would say one of the takeaways is, number one, when I was on the other side of it and I was just a viewer, you're operating under the assumption that you know everything, that this person is telling you everything, which is one of the reasons that a lot of influencers come out and say dude, I'm normal. I got all this crazy shit going on behind the scenes that I'm not showing you. Sometimes it's hard to get online and pretend that you're super happy and peppy and whatever when you just found out your aunt has cancer or some crazy shit, Which is why I'm not happy and peppy. I just figured I'd nip that right in the bud. So no one expects me to be like that. But yeah, I operated under the assumption that I knew, and that I knew this person. And the truth of it is you never will, no matter how much they share. No matter how much Desi Perkins shares with you, you will never truly know her 100%, unless you know her in real life. And I think that's just true. And I think there are a lot of people who like really try to create that real connection, and they have it, but regardless, like for instance, I've thought about this a lot actually, because I feel like I've been receiving a lot of just overly kind comments, especially on this channel, giving me way too much credit. And my lately my thought process has been like, I'm gonna end up like disappointing so many people probably at some point. I'm gonna reach a point where people are gonna think like, she's changed, she's a bitch now, she's conceited, blah, 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 whatever it is. Because I think those people who are watching from the outside, it's kind of similar to like a family situation. Hear me out. For instance, when you change something about yourself, you go through some kind of a big, whatever it is, if it's a diet change, it could be something that small, you know, or just what you're wearing. The people who take it the hardest are the people who are closest to you. Families usually have a really hard time. Very, very close friends have a really hard time with it, because it's like, you're this person and this is what you are. You're in this box that I've seen for this many years. And then you change something and it's like, what? Like, you're a completely different person. You're not like this. What are you talking about? And it's very difficult for people to, you know, for whatever reason, it's difficult for people to accept that, you know, because they see you as this certain thing and they become very disappointed no matter what the change is. It's just kind of like, oh, that's not you, you know, even if it is. Or maybe it's something that you haven't shared with them for a really long time. I feel like I'm getting off topic. But anyway, it's the same thing with these parasocial relationships. The viewer is creating this idea of this person based on their own opinions, what they're viewing, what that person is allowing them to see. And if at any point that person deviates, I feel like the viewer is immediately like, what? Like, this isn't how it's supposed to go. This isn't what you're not interested in this. You don't have these skills. Why are you pursuing this thing? What, you're stepping away? What, you're not telling me everything about your life? Or all of a sudden you're telling me everything about your life? It's interesting. I would love to hear what your perspective is as a viewer, because I personally am like, I mean, I would say I'm not this commanding maybe when I'm in like actual interactions with people. And I've said this before, I'm very much an introvert. I'm very much like, I would much rather kind of like sit back and listen to the conversation than be the first to be, you know, offering information, I guess. And I don't know if that comes off. I know I've said it, but I don't know if it necessarily comes off, because I do receive a lot of comments from you guys saying like, oh, you're so confident, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm comfortable in front of this camera, just sitting here talking, literally staring at a lens and talking to what feels like no one, you know? This is a very strange feeling, I have to say, because I know I'm speaking to people, but there's nobody there. I'm literally talking to a camera. Very weird. I'm in my room by myself talking to myself. I'm crazy. Yeah, dude, that's fucking weird to think about. I don't really like it. But I'm obviously not showing you absolutely everything. I'm not showing you how dickish I can be, or how bitchy, or irritable, or short-tempered, or impatient, or just randomly mean for no reason. Like, people are just people. And I have all of those things, and I can definitely be that. And since I'm not showing you those things here, you probably have a hard time picturing it, or that wouldn't be something that you would like consider. And then if you did see it, you would be like, what a fucking bitch. I don't like her. She's so different. She's so full of herself, you know? It's interesting. I don't know how much more in depth I can go with that one, but the concept of it is strange to me, and it is sort of like, it's like as soon as we see someone on a screen and they become this personality, the humanity of them sort of disappears. You know, I'm thinking of like all of the celebrities. You open up like the trash mags, you know, and there's all these stupid things about like, you know, there's always those stupid things about like, oh, they've aged so much, or like worst bikini moments or whatever it is, which is like just horrible. But, you know, we don't know those people, right? So, like, I grew up looking at stupid magazines and being like, oh my God, did you hear that like this person is sleeping with this person? You know, probably not true at all. Probably like 99.9% of that shit that's in those magazines isn't true, but we don't know. And then we base our assumptions on those things that are put out into the media about these people that we don't know at all. Like have never met, probably will never meet. We see them in a movie and we see maybe an interview where they're irritable, or they've been asked the same question 300 times in a row and they're tired and they haven't eaten, and they say something a little bit snippy and people are like, well, you're making all of this money, so you need to like not be a bitch. And I don't know, just judgment basically, without knowing what that situation is really like or what has just happened. Context is so important. Anyway, the way I feel about it is the way that makes me feel most comfortable. I would never be able to do what Desi is doing. I would never be able to put myself out there 100%. Never. It also just doesn't interest me. I have no interest in waking up first thing in the morning and picking up my phone and talking to you. No offense. I'm a pretty private person. I feel like I've said that, quite a bit. There are certain things that I'll say if I feel like it. It's not this premeditated thing. And there are plenty of things that that down the line, in terms of like my future and wherever my life is going and family and things like that I've thought like, would I share that? Probably not. My default is probably not. And so what I'm saying is you guys are going to take whatever information you're given and you're going to create whatever whatever you think I am, I guess. And I think it's just human nature. The idea that it's that it is a genuine form of social interaction is very interesting. Like I said, considering there's been a pandemic for like the past fucking year and it's been shut down, and there are so many people who are just living alone. And I mentioned this in like a couple videos ago or whenever it was, about how people are social and we need social interaction. We just do. Even if you're introverted, even if you're like such a recluse, you need something. We're social animals. We just are. Now, it's a spectrum. Some people are much more social than others, but we all need it. So it's interesting to me that it would be considered like a valid form of that, because it is so different and one-sided. I'm not trying to make this channel one-sided. I don't want it to be one-sided. In fact, somebody recommended that I need to do a live stream on this channel, which I'm totally going to do. I just need to have my boyfriend help me set it up, because I'm not good at that kind of stuff. You need like software and stuff. I'm going to do it though, just so you know, so that it isn't like one-sided. Maybe I'll do that like once every couple of weeks or something, or once a month. I don't know how often I could do it. We'll see. What was I saying? Hold on. Yeah, I don't know. I guess like how do you view it? Like, have you considered these things that like you're only being, I know it's easy to be like, I know I'm not seeing everything, I know that these are people, to think like, I know that these are people that I'm watching on the internet, and they have lives, and they, have ups and downs, and people in their families die, and they get sick, and they fight with their significant other or their family members or whatever. It's easy to think, I know they're not perfect all the time. But if you're not seeing it and you're only being fed good info, even though you logically can think it, it's very hard to picture. And I think that makes it like very hard to truly understand. So you're still sort of like subconsciously operating under this assumption that like, this is this person, this is like the full package. You know what I mean? I don't know. What do you think? And would you guys like I was thinking about I think I meant to say this. I had thought about this concept for another video, and I ended up like talking, and it was just kind of all over the place, so I ended up like deleting it. But like, for instance, one of the things is, I don't know how approachable I come off here. I don't know if I seem like I would be the kind of person that like, if you ran into me in public, we would just like become best friends and like hug and cry and be like, oh my God. Because I would say that the majority of the time when I'm in public, I don't look approachable at all. My resting face is just very angry. I look annoyed. I don't give off this kind of like, come up and say hi. The majority of my like social interactions with people who are subscribers or followers on Instagram have been, I would say pretty much every single experience has been great, because there have been very few. So it's easy. My first reaction or thought when someone is staring at me in public is not, oh, they must be a YouTube subscriber. It's, the fuck are you looking at? Like, you know what I mean? That's my first like thought. And then maybe down the line, if they continue and we're like in a Sephora, then I'd be like, oh, maybe they recognize me. You know what I mean? But my general persona is very much, don't look at me and leave me alone. I'm here to get my shit and go, you know? Basically what I'm trying to say is that most of you probably wouldn't like me. Anyway, I don't know. Let me know what you think about this idea of parasocial relationships. Being a viewer, how does it feel? Do you consider these things? Do you agree with me that like, even though you can logically consider bad things about this person, it's very difficult to picture? And do you feel that like every influencer is going to inevitably disappoint you? Because I feel like that's a big fear for me. I don't want to disappoint anyone. I'm not trying to please everybody. I know that most people, like, there are plenty of people out there who aren't going to like me. I'm not trying to like, I don't care if everybody likes me. I know that's impossible, but I definitely don't want to reach a point where I disappoint the people who have like been watching me for a really long time. But I just don't know if that's realistic. Like, I don't know if that's realistic. Yeah. Thoughts? Great talk.